I lay in bed at the Mojave Bloom Bed and Breakfast, located about an hour's drive from Vegas in the picturesque town of Dead Man's Butte, an apt named town because at any time the vampire that is stalking me could resume the hunt. I didn't know much about this vampire, except he, or she, was an old one whose bite was also a mark of territory. Was this vampire male? Female? How old? What did they look like? How did they know I had a rare blood type? When had they started secretly stealing blood from me? My boyfriend, Ari Rossi, a non-traditional vampire with dark hair and olive skin, had brought me to this town both to protect me and to figure out our next move. We weren't alone. My 12-year-old sister, Jasmine, and my 16-year-old brother, Elliot, were with us. Friends of the Blood Royale own the Mojave Bloom, and somehow Ari pulled in a couple of favors for us to stay here. What's the Blood Royale? I'm kind of confused myself, but she's like the queen of the 30 or so vampires in Vegas. She runs things, including a black market blood bank, and enforces individual hunting zones. She's also more than 1,000 years old. Vampires are powerful, but even they can't stand against 1 million humans, which leads to their biggest rule, and it is rarely broken: secrecy. Though there were other rooms in the Mojave Bloom, the 4 of us shared one room. Ari's insistence. That way he could watch over all of us and protect all of us. We didn't know who was hunting us, but we kept that information secret from my siblings. They believed we were on an innocent trip for my health. Though my siblings slept, I stood by the window looking outside, examining every shadow, every motion, every noise. Though it was dark, I saw through the darkness as clearly as if it were noon. I understood now what was slowly happening to me. I was changing, becoming Dhampir, a human vampire half-breed. If my attacker left me alone, I would revert back to human. If not, I would die and complete the change to full vampire. With most people it happened within days of initial contact. Not me. The reason it hadn't happened already was that my attacker wanted the process to last as long as possible. However, my evolving thirst could become a danger to those around me, especially Elliot and Jasmine. Whoever kept biting me kept me on the verge of humanity. They didn't want me to change fully, because then my blood wouldn't be the rare and delicious AB negative. One of the less than 1,800 people in the entire Vegas area that had that blood type. According to Ari, because of my age and health, this person, man or woman, was farming me. My phone rang. What time was it? I reached over and grabbed my phone. It said 11 at night. I left the room so as not to disturb my brother and sister. "Hello," I groggily said. My voice sounded like a tractor was dragging it behind. I felt terrible. Somebody said something, but I couldn't understand them. "Hello," I said again. The doctor had given me some pills, some for the anemia, some to help me sleep, and another was a prescription-strength multivitamin. I found it hard to concentrate. "What have you done with my children? Where are you?" a woman screamed. "Hi, Mom," I said. "The doctor said I have severe anemia." A moment's pause, and then Mom yelled, "That's impossible. I never gave you permission to go to the doctor. How dare you see a doctor without telling me? How dare you take your brother and sister out of school? How dare you shirk your responsibilities? I have a good mind to call the police on you. You will bring them back to the apartment right this instant." "So you can take care of them?" I asked, suddenly too tired to be angry. "What state are you in, Mom? Your shift isn't supposed to end for 2 more days. Why do you care?" "Rodrigo and I took an emergency flight from Philadelphia, and we just got home," Mom yelled. "Jasmine's school called me, wondering how long she'll be out, and if they should prepare a packet of homework. Then I called Elliot's school, and they told me how you had to be taken away in an ambulance to some stupid hospital, and now you're on vacation. The doctor wouldn't even talk to me, except to mention client-doctor confidentiality. You're lying about all of this. You are nothing but a lazy, faking idiot trying to get out of your responsibilities and make me pay for all your supposed hospital stay. Who ever heard of a man getting anemia? It's a woman's thing, so I know you're lying. Now tell me where you are." A firm, cool hand took the phone away from me and softly said into the phone, "Zane needs to sleep if he is ever to recover. Goodbye, Mrs. Smith, and please do call the police. We will enjoy talking to them. Come on, Zane. You've been inside too long. Time to get some night air." "Is this Ari?" Mom yelled. "This is your fault for getting involved in my family's business. Stay away." "Is that you, Mom?" Jasmine suddenly said from the doorway. "What's wrong with her? Elliot and I heard her all the way back in the room." "Jasmine, baby, tell me where you are," Mom screamed. "You're in danger." "Zane is sick, Mom, and it's all your fault because you make him work too much," Jasmine said. "I'm taking care of him so he gets better. I don't want you around. I hate you." "You will get into the first taxi and come home," Mom yelled, and then she suddenly ended the call. Ari took my phone from me, opened the apps and looked through them. "No tracking apps that I can see. Jasmine, let me see your phone." Jasmine handed her phone over, and Ari scrolled through the apps. Ari closed the phone and handed it back to my sister and said, "Nothing. Jasmine, help me get your brother into a chair. He's too pale, and then could you order him some beef broth? I don't like the way he looks." I sat outside, the moon and the stars shining on me, halfway drowsing. The coldness inside my soul kept my body from sleeping. Jasmine and Elliot had finished their homework, at least for today, and since Mom had woken them, they were busy exploring the channels on the nearest TV. Ari stayed near me, never taking off his heavy gloves, always wearing his oversized heavy hoodie or his baggy Levi's and his thick, dark glasses. Very little of his skin showed. Even covered up, I thought him the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. Something about becoming a vampire changes more than just the person. It changes their physiology. Their features become sharper, more feral, and that look excited me. He emitted a pheromone that made him more desirable. Was that why I fell in love with him? Me, I wasn't covered up. A tank top, shorts, flip-flops, and now a large cup of steaming beef broth to sip. According to Ari, I needed time, maybe weeks, for my body to burn the vampire venom out of me. I touched the 2 mosquito bites on my neck, excited that under that vicious bite was Ari's gentle bite, a touch that was almost not a touch. I hadn't even felt him as he drained a drop from my neck. I must have felt something when the other vampire attacked me, but he or she had done something to me that made me forget. "I spoke with the Blood Royale earlier," Ari said. "What does she think?" I asked. "She spoke with Fraser and asked him to look around," Ari said. "The Blood Royale reads the truth about people. Nobody can lie to her, and she said Fraser wasn't involved. She's checked with more than half of the Vegas conclave, and nobody knew anything about this. We might have an out-of-towner, or a hidden renegade, or somebody trying to sneak out of some other conclave and get away with something. Somebody passing through and I got unlucky, I asked. With as many times as you've been targeted, Ari said, it's not somebody who is simply passing through. The Blood Royale is checking with Salt Lake, L.A., San Francisco, and Reno to see if they know anything. So far, the answer is no. Are they all called Blood Royales? I asked. Blood Priest is Salt Lake. Blood Regent is L.A. Blood Drop rules the San Francisco and Oakland areas, and Blood Tide rules San Diego. Reno is too small to have more than 1 or 2 vampires, so they report to the Blood Royale, Ari said. There's usually a ruler for every city bigger than 1 million, with smaller areas feeding into them, but none of them have found any renegades yet. Doesn't mean there aren't any, I asked. It means you're still in danger, Ari said. Ari placed his arm about me and let me snuggle into him. The firmness of his body allowed me a moment to relax. The gentle coolness of his skin reminded me that he wasn't human. The little bit of skin that had showed in the sun today around his glasses had turned pink. As covered as he was, the sun still burned him. Here he was, risking his life to help me and my family. He and his friends were trying to track down the vampire that targeted me. I wanted to ask why, but I already knew the answer. My blood made me valuable. That was why they were helping me. I was a rare commodity they wanted to keep for themselves. What had Ari said? My blood was liquid gold. Don't be scared, Ari said. I'm not leaving. He must have misread the emotion. I'm not scared. Well, in a way I am, but I really feel used. A pawn between forces I don't understand. This whole weird scenario made me sad. Really sad. People don't like me for who I am. I held Ari, keeping him from seeing my face, keeping him from realizing the truth behind my pain. Mom used me as a surrogate parent. Jasmine needed me to keep her safe. Elliot needed me to keep him on track at school and life. Ari protected me only for my blood. Some old vampire used me because of my blood. I had long ago given up real friends because I had to work so much. My last boyfriend had left me because I worked so much and admitted, I'm boring. Now there is the Blood Royale, oldest vampire in Vegas, who is also involved because of my blood. AB negative. To a vampire, I am literally worth my weight in gold. My only value is because I'm a fine, rare wine. That made me smile, and then I stopped smiling. Wine only has worth in the drinking. You throw the bottle away once it was empty. Was there anyone who liked me for me? Still being protected by Ari's arms, I whispered, Who can be hunting me? His sunburned face whispered, The old legends hold true. Vampires must be invited in. Like every workman that has come to visit, I said. Or your mom's boyfriend, Rodrigo, Ari said. Wouldn't you know if he was a vampire? I asked. No, Ari said. If you meet someone on the street, can you tell if they play the piano? Just because I'm a vampire doesn't give me special powers. Well, it does, actually, but I don't know anyone who can tell you are a vampire as soon as you meet. I thought vampires turned into a bat or controlled the weather, I said. Bats don't fly very fast, plus everybody expects it, so that makes it impractical. And what better way to tell others your position than by calling down lightning bolts out of the sky, he said. We survive by secrecy. We found a chair to share. Ari fell asleep. Poor guy, he's been up all day. I thought I had a weird sleep schedule, but a vampire slept completely opposite everybody else. I got up, tucked the blanket around my boyfriend, and walked into the darkness of the desert. The beautiful, solitary desert. The moon's cool light kissed my skin, and I felt free and whole. Eerily quiet, the desert wind blew about. I'd hate to live out here. I'd love to live out here. The sense of being watched returned. I glanced about. Nothing moved in the darkness. What was I expecting? Vampires are solitary creatures. But their servants weren't. How did that work? It worked because vampires always had someone serving them during the day. Lately, my senses had grown sharper. I closed my eyes and listened. The world became alive with small sounds. Over there, a desert hare jumped away from some cat. On the shady side of the bush came that subtle crackling, humming noise of an ant colony, and the soft breath of some large animal breathing. An almost imperceptible thud, as if from a shoe. I looked in the direction and saw the quick hiding of a shadow. Had they found me? Stupid me. I had just told them I knew they were there. Even stupider. I ran towards the shadow. Somebody is stalking me for my blood, and what do? I run straight towards the stalker. It was dumb. You don't have to tell me about that. Except, I was faster than human, stronger than human. Saw through the dark world as if the sun had risen. I wasn't quiet about it. Something snarled in my gut, and it snarled loud. And I was angry at Mom for using me all these years to watch over Jasmine and Elliot, angry at my life for turning out this way, angry at Ari for only liking me for my blood, angry at Elliot and Jasmine. I leapt, flying more than 20 feet at my stalker. The way I felt right now, he or she wouldn't stand a chance. I'd rip them apart. An animal surged inside me like a raging tiger or a lion. I wanted blood. All it would take was one bite. I lunged and saw my assailant. He looked college-aged, which meant nothing to an immortal. He wore a dark, oversized hoodie and dark glasses. That wasn't what scared me. Unlike Ari, this man's skin was as white as a freshly painted wall, but his skin had a slight bluish tinge to it. The veins stood out in various places across his hands and face, and his eyes were blazing red, like twin LEDs. His fangs were sharp and glistened blood red in the faint moonlight as he drained a blood pack in front of me. What cemented the horror in my eyes, the stalker didn't stand on the ground, but an area of darkness held him 10 feet aloft. Oh my God. He was flying. There was no way I could take him in a fight. "Good evening, Zane," he whispered, but his whisper carried as if he used a bullhorn. "Would you care for something to drink?" Claws erupted from his right hand and ripped the top off another blood bag. Suddenly, I understood why vampires refer to humans as pop-tops. And that terrified me. Thank you for listening to Chapter 3 of Insanely Zane. It's a little shorter because it turns out it's been a rough week. Anyway, more chapters are on their way. I'm Gio, writer and reader of this chapter. If you'd like to listen to more stories about gay men falling in love, please stop by my YouTube channel. It's called Gio Allred, and of course it's on YouTube. Anyway, peace.